All right, so there's kind of, I guess, 2 questions from each type of question. So I figured I'll do one from each pair, I guess. And then if you want to see another one, I'll do another one too. So from 1 and 2, which one do you guys want to see?
1.
All right, let's do 1. So what's the first thing we have to find in order to find our trig functions?
Opposite leg.
Whatever the opposite leg is.
Right.
So I'm missing the opposite here. That would make this one the adjacent and this one our hypotenuse. How do I find the opposite? What do I need to do? Pythagorean theorem. So it would be 4 squared plus, what would come next? X squared. So remember, it's the 2 legs squared added together equals the hypotenuse squared. So this would be 16 plus x squared equals 100. Minus 16 on both sides. X squared is equal to 84. Take the square root. I can simplify the square root of 84. 4 goes into this 21 times, and 21 breaks down into 3 and 7. 4 breaks down into 2 and 2. Do you have any pairs?
2.
Pair of 2. So the 2 comes out, and then what stays on the inside?
21.
Square root 21. So my opposite is 2 square root 21. So again, I need to know Sohcahtoa. So sine is what over what? Opposite over hypotenuse. So here it would be 2 square root 21 over 10. Can I simplify this?
Yes.
Yes. So what does it simplify to?
Square root of 21 over 5.
Awesome. You have to simplify your fractions. Square root 21 over 5. Cosine is what over what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So 4 over 10. What does this simplify to? 2 over 5. And then tangent?
You got root 21 over 2.
Awesome. So it'd be 2 root 21 over 4, which simplifies to square root 21 over 2. Opposite over adjacent. Then we have our reciprocal functions. So cosecant, we flip sine, so it would be 5 over square root 21. Can I leave this as my answer?
No.
What do I have to do?
Rational.
Rationalize. So multiply square root 21 on the top and the bottom. What do I get?
5 square root of 21 over 21.
5 square root 21 over 21. Awesome. Secant, we flip cosine, so this would be 5 over 2. And cotangent, we flip tangent. So 2 over square root 21. Have to rationalize again here, so multiply the top and the bottom by square root 21. 2 square root 21 over 21. So these are my 6 trig functions. Any questions here? All right, so what type of triangle do I have here?
Special right triangle.
Special right triangle, it's a 45, 45, 90. So in my basic 45, 45, 90, my general one, what are my legs? The same. So my legs are where I start. That's going to be x. And then if my legs are x, what's my hypotenuse?
2 times x.
2 times x. So it's x square root 2. In the 30, 60, 90, it's 2 times x. So here it's x square root 2. So it gives me one of the legs. I know my other leg is going to be the same thing, 5 square root 2. And then my hypotenuse is just whatever this is times square root 2. So it'd be 5 square root 2 times square root 2. What's 5 square root 2 times square root 2? 10. Awesome. This would be 5 times square root 4. Square root 4 is 2, so 5 times 2 is 10.
Would it be? Oh, I still got 10. Because then you get 100 and then you get the square root of 100.
Right, so it should be the same thing if you do Pythagorean
Yeah.
theorem. Alright, so then we can find our sine of theta. So theta is down here. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So 5 square root 2 over 10. And what does this simplify to? Square root 2 over 2. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so 5 square root 2 over 10. And this simplifies to square root 2 over 2. And tangent is opposite over adjacent, so 5 square root 2 over 5 square root 2, which simplifies to 1. And then we can flip them. So this would be 2 over square root 2. Have to rationalize, so multiply the top and the bottom by square root 2. So I get 2 square root 2 over 2. Can I leave my answer like this?
No.
Nope, you have to simplify. So the 2's cancel, so it's just square root 2. This one would be the same thing, square root 2. Amber.
If you didn't memorize what the sine of 45 degrees.
So you could either memorize the chart from the notes or know your special right triangles. So here's our 45, 45, 90, and the other one is our 30, 60, 90. So 30, 60, 90. Opposite of the 30s are x. Opposite of the 60 is x square root 3, and opposite of the 90 is 2 times x. So you have to know your special right triangles for the quiz. All right, and then lastly, our cotangent would also be 1. So here's our 6 trig functions. Any questions there? All right, for number 4, I just want to find the side lengths. So in our special right triangle, our 30, 60, 90, opposite of the 30 is just x. Opposite of the 60 is whatever that value is times square root 3. And opposite of the 90 is 2 times x. So opposite of the 30 here, we have 7. So 7 is our x. That would make this angle up here 60. So opposite of the 60 would be what? 7 square root 3. So it's whatever your x is times square root 3. And then opposite of the 90, so our hypotenuse is 2 times x. So it would be 14. Awesome. All right. Find the exact values of the 5 missing trig functions. Do you want to do 5 or 6? Let's do 6. So I have the cotangent is equal to 6. What's my denominator here? 1. So it's 6 over 1. And what is cotangent in terms of opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse? Adjacent over opposite. Awesome. Adjacent over opposite. Because we know that tangent is TOA, that would mean cotangent is the reciprocal, so adjacent over opposite. So our adjacent is 6, our opposite is 1. So if I have my triangle here, let's say this is theta. Opposite is 1, adjacent 6. How do I find my hypotenuse? Pythagorean theorem. So it would be 1 squared plus 6 squared is equal to x squared. So 1 plus 36 is equal to x squared. So 37 is equal to x squared, and take the square root. X is equal to the square root of 37. Do we have any factors of 37? No. So we can't simplify it. So now here's our theta. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so 1 over square root 37. We have to rationalize, so we get square root 37 over 37. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so 6 over square root 37. So we get 6 square root 37 over 37. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so 6 over 1. Cosecant, we just flip sine, so it would be square root 37 over 1, which is just square root 37. Secant, we flip cosine, and that would be square root 37 over 6. And cotangent was given to us here, so that's just 6. Any questions here? So number 2 is a little bit different because theta is not in the same exact spot, but theta is up here. So it just changes which ones are opposite, which one's adjacent. So opposite is always opposite of theta. So 10 is our opposite, and what does that make 6? Adjacent. And how do we find our hypotenuse? Pythagorean Theorem. So 6 squared plus 10 squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. Remember, it's always equal to the hypotenuse squared. So here we have 36 plus 100 is equal to x squared. So x squared is equal to 136. Take the square root. Let's see if we can break down 136. So we know 2 goes into it. That would be, actually 4 goes into it. Sure, yeah. But for this part, I mean, yeah, you can use a calculator for this part. You don't really need one because it has to be an exact answer, but yeah. Awesome. So, and 34. So 4 breaks down into 2 and 2. This breaks down into 2 and 17. So what comes out? 2 times square root 34. Awesome. So our hypotenuse is 2 square root 34.
Wait, so square root.
Yes.
You say exact, so what if you had a calculator and we just put like the exact square root of 34 on the quiz?
Like a decimal.
Yeah.
You can't put a decimal.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has to be exact. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so that would be 10 over 2 square root 34. Can this simplify? 5 over square root 34, but we have to rationalize. So this would become 5 square root 34 over 34.
Where did you get the 5 from?
It was on the top because 10 divided by 2 was 5. So 5's on the top. All right, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So 6 over 2 square root 34. So this would be 3 over square root 34. Then we have to rationalize. So multiply the top and the bottom by square root 34. And this would be 3 square root 34 over 34. Next we have tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So that would be 10 over 6, which simplifies to 5 over 3. And then for our reciprocal functions, we just flip them. So cosecant would be 2 square root 34 over 10, which simplifies to square root 34 over 5. Secant would be square root 34 over 3, because I just flipped this one. And then cotangent would be what? 3 over 5. Because I flipped this one.
Square root of 5.
Cosine is 3
Oh no, I thought you said cosine, sorry.
cosine. Square root 55 over 8. Secant would be 8 over square root 55. Have to rationalize, so multiply the top and the bottom by 55, square root 55. So 8 square root 55 over 55. Can I simplify?
No.
Nope. And then tangent is opposite over adjacent, so 3 over square root 55. Have to rationalize, so this would be 3 square root 55 over 55. And cotangent would be the reciprocal of this one, so square root 55 over 3. So number 3 says Matt is standing on top of a cliff 305 feet above a lake. So here's Matt on the cliff. The measurement of the angle of depression to a boat on the lake is 42 degrees. How far is the boat from Matt? So here's our boat on the lake, out here somewhere. We're trying to find how far the boat is from Matt. So that's going to be our x. And it says the angle of depression. So the measurement of the angle of depression to a boat on the lake. So from Matt here, so the horizontal line down is 42 degrees. So angle of depression is from the horizontal line down, and it's outside your triangle. So here's our triangle. Do I have an angle inside my triangle that I know of? What is it? 48. The one up top here is 48, because these two are going to add up to 90. And then my height of the cliff was 305. So if this angle is 48, x is my hypotenuse. What's 305, opposite or adjacent? Adjacent. It's adjacent to this angle here. So adjacent. So which trig function involves opposite and adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine. So we would take the cosine of 48, and that's equal to 305 over x. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. What do I need to do to solve?
305 divided by cosine 48.
Yeah, that works. I would multiply both sides by x. Your calculator has to be in degrees. So x times cosine of 48 is equal to 305. Then divide both sides by cosine of 48. So you would put this into your calculator.
It's like 455.15.
455 point.
You just say
0.8. And what is my unit of measure? Feet. Don't forget to put that on the quiz.
You said our calculator has to be in degrees?
Calculators have to be in degrees. If your calculator's in radians, you will not get the right answer. So from a 200-foot observation tower on the beach, so here's our observation tower, it's 200 feet. A man sights a whale in difficulty. So the man's up here in our observation tower, and let's say the whale is out here. It's my whale. The angle of depression of the whale is 7 degrees. How far is the whale from the shoreline? So our angle of depression is from the horizontal line down, and that's 7 degrees. So we need to find how far the whale is from the shoreline. Would that be my hypotenuse or my base here? The base. And then if 7 degrees is outside of my triangle, what would this angle inside of it be? 83. So from this 83 degree angle, that's going to be my theta. What is x? Opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse? It's opposite, and 200 is adjacent. So which trig function involves opposite and adjacent? Tangent. So I would take the tangent of 83. Yeah, you can go 2. Tangent of 83 is equal to what? X over 200. So here, since x is on the top, I'm just going to multiply the top and the bottom by 200. So I have x is equal to 200 times tangent of 83. And what do you get? 1,628.9. Perfect. And this is in feet. Right. So this one down here would be 7.
Okay.
But then, like, if you use this one, you would be taking the tangent of 7, which is equal to 200 over x. So it's like a different formula,
Okay.
but you would get the same answer.
So if you take two parallel lines,
Yeah.
and then you like cross it, then this degree is going to be the same as that.
Yeah, this one's the same as this because there would be alternate interior angles from your parallel lines. All right, let's take a look at 9. So the flagpole in front of CB East casts a shadow 40 feet long. When the measurement of the angle of elevation to the sun is 31 degrees, how tall is the flagpole? So you have a flagpole, and it casts a shadow that's 40 feet long. And we have to find how tall is the flagpole. And then our angle of elevation is from the horizontal line up, so that would be our elevation up here, which would be 31 degrees. So what do I need, which trig function do I need to use here? Tangent. I take the tangent of 31. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so that would be equal to x over 40. So multiply both sides by 40. X is going to be equal to 40 times tangent of 31. And then we just put this into our calculator. So what do we get for x? .03. 24.03 what? Feet. Don't forget the feet. So it says, you are standing 5 feet from the top of an 80-foot light tower looking at a boat at an angle of depression of 31 degrees. How far is the boat to the base of the light tower? So we have our light tower here. The light tower is 80 feet, but we're standing 5 feet from the top of it. So I'm right here, standing. So how tall is it from the ground to me? How far? 80 feet is the height of the light tower. I'm 5 feet from the top of it. 75. Like 5 feet below the top of it.
Oh, okay. So you're standing 5 feet from the top.
5 feet below the top. And I'm looking at a boat out here. And I'm trying to find how far the boat is to the base of the light tower. So this is going to be my x. So here's my triangle. I have an angle of depression here. So I'm looking at the boat from here. My angle of depression goes down 31 degrees. So do I have an angle in my triangle that I know? This would be 59. You could also use this one as 31. Either one. Both work. So let's say 59 degrees is my theta. This is the angle I'm looking at. Which trig function do I have to use? Tangent. So I take the tangent of 59, and that's equal to? Awesome. X is my opposite. 75 is my adjacent. So x over 75. So x is equal to tangent of 59 times 75. What do I get? $124.82 feet. Everybody agree? Disagree? Yes. Okay, so this question says, a 5-foot tall bird watcher is standing 50 feet from the base of a large tree. The person measures the angle of elevation to a bird on top of the tree as 71.5, this should be degrees. How tall is the tree? So we have a tree, and I have a 5-foot tall bird watcher. This is 5. And the person is standing 50 feet from the base of the tree. So this is 50. So the person measures the angle of elevation to the bird, 71.5 degrees. So the person is looking at the bird going up. So from the horizontal line going up, this is 71.5 degrees. So what is the base of my triangle here? 50. And then I'm trying to find the height of this tree, so the whole thing. But what do I know that this part of the tree already is? 5, because the person was 5 feet tall. So now I'm just looking for this part of the tree. So which trig function do I need to use? So my triangle is here. Tangent. I'm going to take the tangent of 71.5, and that's equal to what? Just x over 50. So I'm just trying to find the x because I want to find this part. I'm just using the triangle. In the end of the problem, I'm just going to add 5 to it to find the height of the tree.
I don't understand why you put it.
So I would multiply both sides by 50. So x is equal to 50 times the tangent of 71.5. What'd you get when you put that into the calculator?
149.
What is it? 149.4 feet. But I also have to add 5 to it because the tree is whatever this height is plus 5, the whole thing. So the height of the tree would be 154.4 feet. Yes.